Hey folks, it's your friend Ron. The 2026 election cycle may go down as the most racially divisive campaign in American history. Yeah, you heard that right. The most racist campaign in American history. Not because of racism, but because one party has a very strong commitment of leveraging their seat at the table by convincing black voters and liberal white voters that there's a real issue at hand and blacks are being taken advantage of and being harmed in some way by this election cycle and the gerrymandering issue. It all started in Tennessee when the Supreme Court ruled that the Ninth District could not be drawn primarily to create a black majority. Most of us would say a racial gerrymandering would be wrong, whichever way you swing it, whether you want to make sure it's a white district or a black district or a Hispanic district. We would say that doesn't sound fair, doesn't sound reasonable. But looking closer at the Ninth District in Tennessee, yes, it's a majority black district, but it's been represented by a white man for the last 20 years. So the issue isn't really race in Tennessee, and it really isn't race in some of these other states as well. The issue is politics. And one party has a certain value that if we can just stir up this racism issue, we more of us can get elected. And it's really that simple. It's a dog whistle. Say racism, and every black person feels like, well, somehow I need to fall in line. And I can tell you this right now, I got a lot of hits from friends who I still consider them friends, but they want to let me know that I need to fall in line. How could I do this and not vote the way they think I should vote? And I'm going to vote for the person I think best represents my values. That's what every American should do. But there's a lot of pressure. And so what you have to look at is what's behind the accusation. Is it really racism? And I think one of the things I often ask people is, well, why do you think that's racist? And if you do think it's racist, give me your evidence. I was speaking to a lady on an airplane, a 75-year-old white lady, and I was telling her about the book I wrote called Rethinking Race. It's better than you've been led to believe. And she immediately said, after I told her the title, well, America is racist. And I said, politely, because I'm a very polite guy, I said, tell me, why do you think that? And she thinks about it for a minute. She puts her hand to her temple. She goes to her chin and, she says, I guess I never really thought about it. And I think a lot of people by default have embraced the notion that America is racist. And yet the proof of the pudding doesn't support that. You can go number one, you have a two-term black president who was very, very popular. If America's racist, wouldn't be the case. One of the most popular public figures in our nation, a celebrity, Oprah Winfrey, a talk show host whose support and popularity was totally subjective. America's got to choose who they were going to like, and they chose Oprah Winfrey. And you can get in sports and Michael Jordan and all the different professional athletes that are blacks, that people love them. But it's deeper than that. Look at the American culture. And I can tell you, as a kid growing up during Jim Crow, in a sundown town, in a segregated community, we've come a long way. And I would encourage you, if you read Rethinking Race, it's available on Amazon.com. If you read that book, you'll get to read the I Have a Dream speech by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And when you read that speech and you evaluate how do we do as a nation, every bit of it, we've accomplished it. The dream has been realized, but we have people who, for political reasons, understand that it's not racial reasons, but political reason, they want to raise the specter of racism to keep power. And it's really that simple. LBJ was notorious for having said, we got to do something coming out of the civil rights movement to ensure these ends vote Democrat for the next 200 years. Well, we're about a third of the way there. Think about it. 60 years of loyal support to one party, to what end? No significant economic opportunities presented, no significant work in the education space. Think about the inner city schools of our nation and how we've done so little. In Kansas City, at one time, we were spending nearly $40,000 per student in the name of desegregation. and we didn't improve the quality of education for our kids. Think about job opportunities. The inner cities do not provide those things. But here's the other side of the ledger when it comes to jobs. Look at Black America. How many Black Americans today have worked, bought their homes, created businesses, retired, and lived the American dream? Literally millions have. And if you listen to the rhetoric of one side of this ledger, somehow America has held the Black man down. I think the truth is we've allowed a political party to sell us on the notion of our victimhood to the extent that some of us don't even think we should try. And that's a real shame. Don't let 2026 fool you. This is not about race. Folks, this is about pure politics.